Today I want to take you to Costa Rica to talk all about my experience in Costa Rica TEFL. I've already done a video which I will link at the end about all the different options you have to do a TEFL course, but today I want to delve a little deeper into Costa Rica TEFL. So how it works: when you've applied and been accepted onto the course, they help you find accommodation. You don't have to take this help, but they have contacts with people that live in the community. You could live with a Spanish-speaking family. You could live with English-speaking people, as I did. I lived with two ex-students of Costa Rica TEFL. We lived in this cute little bungalow nicknamed Casa Congo. I could borrow my own bike for the month, which was great because as it was just 10 minutes on bike outside of Samara town centre, it was so easy to bike to school each day, past the field of horses which overlooked the beach. It was the best commute I've ever had in my life, and I would really recommend living with locals rather than staying in one of the hostels or hotels for the whole month. Leading up to the start of the course, all the students were put in an email together so that we could contact each other, and a meet-up spot was recommended for one of the first evenings. We'd all be there ready for the start of the course. On to the month. Each week we had two tutors. One would teach us the technicalities and grammar around English. We had to kind of learn English again. Things like past participles and the 13 tenses I'd forgotten all about since school. So it was kind of like being back at school again, but in a fun way. Every lesson was game-based, and those games were games we could apply to our own teaching. Then we'd have a lesson on the methodologies of teaching. Again, this was game-based, so it was always fun. I say it wasn't like going back to school, but I think I'd actually enjoy school quite a lot if I went back now.
Visual learning.
It's wasted on the young. So after 2 sessions, we'd then have time to prep lessons. We'd take it in turns. In the first week, we would teach as a group to the real students that lived in and around Samara. There was adults classes and kids classes, and we got the opportunity to teach both. They were amazing. And for the evenings where you weren't teaching a class, you could prep for the next night or the night after when you would be teaching. Overall, I think we got 16 to 20 hours teaching experience. I believe you're required to have a minimum of 10 or 12 hours experience for most TEFL certified careers around the world. So the school days were Monday to Friday from 10:30 up to 7 o'clock when everyone would finish teaching. The nights you're not teaching, you would critique and observe your peers teaching. And at the end we had a graduation ceremony at Las Olas, which is the popular bar among locals and gringos at the beach. You leave with a certificate, a portfolio and a workbook. So here is my TEFL portfolio. At the front I have my CV, a performance summary. My TEFL certificate is usually here. Then we have my assessments and lesson plans from each week of the course, flashcards that we made and games that we made too, feedback from my peers and I gave them peer feedback too. Then we have useful handouts, gestures to use in the classroom. A lot of these work for online teaching as well. Tips regarding classroom management and methodologies and approaches. Then actual grammar quiz, which I did not get 100% at. I do need to refer to this sometimes, as I do need to refer to the tenses. And then we have all the activities that we use, and some of these only really work for in the classroom, but I have adapted some to use in the online classroom too. I'll be doing some shorter videos in the future to share tips on different rewards and games that you can use in your ESL classroom. Another resource we were given was our textbook. I mean, look at the size of this. There's so much to reference in here. Again, with the approaches, lesson planning, different types of activities based on the type of learner you have. And I really notice I have some really musical learners and then some that don't respond to music at all. So it's really good to have all these different approaches. They all have worksheets, which if you was working in a classroom, I'd definitely pull these out and photocopy them. I have cut some out and I use them for props in my lesson, which I'll show you another week. There are other TEFL courses around Costa Rica. One was more established I saw online, but as I did briefly mention in my last video about a TEFL course, Samara just had the perfect balance. It was not too touristy, but there was lovely restaurants, which I guess is quite influenced by having tourism there. I know some people want to pick somewhere as remote as possible, but I found it was a great balance. Unlike Tamarindo, which is a highly visited beach town a few hours up the road, I found way too Americanized. Samara seems to still have a lot of charm of Costa Rica. You soon become familiar with the faces you'd see down the street and your students that you'd see. It was strange seeing students in the bar. And of course, once you've made it all the way to Costa Rica, you can't not take some extra cash and make sure you have time to travel the country as well. I went ziplining in Monteverde. I went up to Nicaragua and explored a little bit of Granada. Then I went back to Costa Rica, down to Cahuita in the Caribbean side, which is completely different and so beautiful from the Pacific side. Saw lots of animals, saw the elusive sloths at Jaguar Rescue Centre, which is actually a rescue centre. Be wary of ones that say they're a rescue centre or a sanctuary, but then let you hold sloths or take selfies with them, because they're probably not a rescue centre, more a money-making machine. I went to Arenal and Rio Celeste, and there was still so many more places that I haven't been yet, but I will go back and visit. If I have piqued your interest, then I will link their website down below. If you go on and you do apply, say Charlie sent you. They are very kind and do give commissions to ex-students. Having said that, I would not be gushing about it so much if I'd had a bad experience. It was probably one of the single best experiences of my 20s. That's why I want other people to have it too. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you are enjoying learning about the ins and outs of teaching online, being a remote worker, how I got started, then please give me a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, pop them in the comments below, because I work online from home, so it's quite lonely, so I really like talking to new people.